Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. What's going on? So, most people think that you need to have a huge down payment to get inside of real estate. And in fact, when I was trying to get into real estate, I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos about how can I make money with real estate? Because as we grow up, we keep hearing that most of the money, the passive, the wealth is built inside of real estate. And so I was stuck in watching videos. How can I earn money with having no money, right? How can I get into real estate without having money to get into real estate? And over the years, alhamdulillah, I've discovered a method, a simple way where we can get inside of real estate and profit from properties that we don't even own, while we can also get into it without using any of our own money. So it's very revolutionary as well. And as I was first starting, I didn't believe in credits. I was a taxi driver, so I didn't understand that you have to build credits so that you can do certain things. And there are certain times when you're trying to get a property, people are going to ask, how's your credit? And so if you don't have credit, I've discovered ways on how we can leverage other people's credits so that we can do this kind of system. So what's going on? My name is Al-Mamun here. And over the past 8 years, I've been doing this on the side that has allowed me to generate an extra passive cash flow. And right now we're up to $20,000 to $30,000 a month, every single month. And literally it takes us 20 minutes a day to manage. So before I go and do a little bit of a deep dive about this, let me show you some proof so you can see the kind of money that you can generate with this kind of business right here. So hopefully you can see this. As you can see, we already got paid out $10,000 for this month, and another $13,000 is pending to come. And basically, we're going to make $13,500. So this whole system of passive cash flow, we're doing this without having to own a property. Now, traditional real estate, the way you probably have thought about and you've been, taught before, and what you thought was only possible was like, all right, I work hard, I save some money, and then I go to the bank, or I get a look for a house. I go to the bank, get a loan, put down a huge down payment, and now I'm in debt for 30 years where I had to pay a mortgage. And on top of that, I still have to work my 9 to 5. I still have to work so that I can pay off the mortgage. And hopefully, I can find a good tenant that pays his rent on time, or that at least pays rent, so that I can use some of that money to pay off the mortgage. So that the money I make from the 9 to 5, I could pay for my family. I could pay for any emergencies. I could pay for groceries or some random travels or whatever it is. And that way, I can gain a little bit more of an advantage towards that American dream. Right? Does that sound just about right? Isn't that what we've been told, that the best way to get into it is save up, go to work, save up some money, put a down payment on a house, get one floor to pay off for the other floor, and so that you can get a little bit more wiggle room, and then you make more money, and you keep doing the same thing, and you can make money that way. Now, there's a few problems with that model. One of them is that you have to wait a long time, right? Because if you're gonna, let's say on average, you're looking for a house for $500,000, $500,000, you'd have to put about 20% down. That's $100,000 that you need to have saved up. And if you've never bought a house before, you need, on top of the $100,000, you need closing costs. So that could be an extra $20,000, $30,000 of closing costs. You have to pay the lawyer that's involved in the deal, so it creates a contract and all these other things. The broker, everybody needs to get paid on that transaction. And it becomes quite intensive. And so how can we get an advantage so that we can find still, because tomorrow's not guaranteed, right? And so we may be working so hard to get an advantage and get inside real estate so we can earn that passive income, so that finally we can live a lifestyle where we can be free, so that finally we can go on a cruise and travel for 2 weeks, or so that finally we can go travel somewhere, or so that finally we can quit our 9 to 5 job that we really don't like and we hate. So that's a huge problem. It takes a long time to even get in the game that way. Now, there's other ways to go ahead and do it, but that involves, getting loans, or that involves doing things that just takes a lot of hard work as well. And when I was going to college. I had a point 0.9 GPA because I didn't attend class. I used to cut class and play basketball. And because I didn't see the point of going to college, right? I did not want to become a radiologist based on what they told me to do. Like, hey, go to college, get a good grade, go become a radiologist. You earn about what, $60,000, $90,000 a year. And I realized that's not enough for me. And that's when I came across this model of Airbnb rental arbitrage. And maybe I would have been skeptical at first. Maybe it would have taken me a long time to get into it. But thankfully, I had someone introduce it to me. At first, my father saw me, okay, this guy is slacking. He's not going to class. He's just driving taxi, but he's not even driving taxi anymore. He's just like paying the lease of the car. He's not even working to make money. And he introduced me to an uncle who had 100 properties, and most of them he did not even own. He was leveraging a similar model that I'm explaining here, and he was literally making money off of it. And he had a manager that he was paying $100,000 every single year to manage everything. So it's like, definitely he's making money if he's paying his manager $100,000. So he explained this model to me, and he showed me a property where Just basically he furnished it, so he put beds, turned it kind of like a hotel, right? So he put beds, he put nightstands, he put TV, he put sofa, and that allowed him to rent it out by the night or by a few weeks or by a month, whatever, so that he can earn more than whatever the rent is. And he's the one who told me, hey, look, you don't need to buy a property or you don't need to invest in a property. You could partner up with other property owners, landlords, wealth investors, whatever, make a deal with them, and you can make money on top of that. So that's the first thing I want you to get out of this. You don't need to put a huge down payment. You could go ahead and partner up with people who've already done that. So there's landlords who are buying houses, there's landlords who have houses, there's wealthy investors who are investing in property because they have money lying around and they want somebody to take those places because they still want to earn that passive income. So what we do is we approach them or we get them come in or whatever, and we make a deal with them because they're looking for a tenant to pay rent. They just want someone to pay rent on time and no problems. So we come in, hey, as a business person, and we're like, hey, we're going to take your property, give it to us. We're going to pay you rent on time. Everything's going to go just fine or whatever. So we're more reputable than a regular tenant because a tenant that comes in, they're going to live there. They're going to, build a nest in there. And so when someone builds a nest, they feel like this in their own home. They could be delayed on payments. They could not pay on, and based on the different states, it may take forever to get them out. So we have a favorable advantage to go ahead and pitch to a landlord, and they are more willing to give it to us once we present it properly. So that's the first thing. We leverage other people's properties so that we can get into making money with real estate. For example, it's kind of like Uber, right? So on Uber, you don't need to own a car to get inside of Uber, right? Like the way to do Uber is you can rent a car from someone and then you can work and make money from that car that you're renting, right? Except the difference with Uber and this model of Airbnb is Uber, you have to be in the car and you have to drive and you have to trade your time. But this real estate is not about trading time. Real estate is about trading the real estate, trading the asset so you can make more money. So that's the first thing. Once we find the property, we go into phase two before we start making money with it, which is we set it up properly. Now, there's two ways to do this. One way is to just put any random thing in there and just put a random bed, put a random sofa, put a random TV, and like, okay, you go in here, let's make money. It's not gonna work that way. If you want to make real money, you have to do this properly. And what I've learned is a simple 2 week setup, if done correctly. And when done correctly, we're able to beat everybody else and we're able to charge 3 times more. So when I first was doing this, I learned from my uncle, and at that time there was less competition, so I just put random things up there, and I was charging about $150 a night on the weekdays, and the weekends $225. But once I discovered this system, where it's basically the presentation and basically having a theme and putting it, designing it the proper way, it still takes 2 weeks to do it, especially when you have the right system. What it allows us to do is go ahead and charge 3 times more. So before I was charging $150 a night, now we charge $450 a night on the weekdays, and the weekends 525, 650, depending, right? And so we literally tripled our nightly rate because of the presentation. So here's how I'll give you an example. Let's say there's two twins, right? If one twin is dressed better than the other twin, and let's say one twin dresses like a homeless man, the other twin dresses like a business person or dresses like a banker, the person in the banker is going to draw more attention, draw more attraction. People are going to be more favorable towards him than they would be to the homeless person, right? People walk down the street, they see a homeless man, they don't even look at them, they don't talk to them, nothing. The homeless man talk to them, they'll run away. If the banker talk to them, they'll be more open to communicating with them. That's how it is with a property. Right? Once you make a deal with the landlord, you go ahead and you set it up, but you dress it up nicely, right? You make it presentable. And once that's done, now we're able to automate the rest. And so that's how we can still get into real estate and start generating cash flow for us, so we can earn, an extra passive income, right? So and they see our property the way we set it up, and we're able to charge per night. And once they leave, we have a cleaning team that goes and cleans everything, and then it just runs on autopilot. And the best part, because it is still real estate, we're able to be anywhere in the world, traveling, whatever. We just need a smartphone with data so that we can manage our cleaners or manage the system. Okay, so that's really how I would go ahead and start inside of real estate. If I had no money, if I had if I didn't have a way to get into real estate when I first started. I'm still doing this now, right? Rental arbitrage is where we find a property that's for rent, right? You already have the skill set. You know how to find apartments. You know how to rent out apartments from regular landlords. It's the same thing, except now we're in a better position where we're coming in with business. And that means that they can, at least have more confidence that they're going to get their rent on time. And that way we're able to take advantage of what they've done. They've invested in the property, right? Imagine there was bank owned all the property, and the landlord got the house on their hands. All we got to do is take it from their hands. They still own it, but we are able to manage it and make money off of it, right? And I'll give you an example, right? We have and I'll show you this right here. We have a property that's a one-bedroom apartment. Just to give you some realistic math here, apartment is going to earn us $12,000 this month, and our profit is going to be around $8,000 for that one-bedroom apartment. And it's only taking 20 minutes a day to manage. Now, let me ask you this question, okay? If your boss called you into his office right now and said, "Hey, you're doing a great job. I want you to do everything, but I want you to stay an extra 20 minutes after your shift, and if you do that, I'm going to pay you an extra $5,000 or an extra $1,000 or extra $2,000 on your paycheck," would you take that? Okay, because I would. Right? When I was driving taxi, if I had to drive only an extra 20 minutes to earn an extra $2,000, that's a no-brainer. And this is what this system and this business model can be for you if you go ahead and take action on it. It's actually very simple. Taking a property, setting it up in 2 weeks, and then putting it up and automating it and just taking 20 minutes a day to manage it to earn an extra $5, $10, $15, $30,000 a month like we're doing right now. I've shared this with a friend of mine. He quit his general manager position at a dealership, and now he's earning anywhere from $40,000 to $60,000. He travels all the time, just like myself, and I've shared this with my father. He's generating anywhere from $4,000 to $7,000 a month. So because of all of this and because of seeing the success and realizing how it has been life-changing for me as well, because it's something so on the side, like a hobby, but it's generating so much income. I know many people can benefit from this, so I decided to create a 3-day challenge where I break everything down on how to find a property, then and making sure to validate it and see how much profit you can make, then how to set it up in 2 weeks, and then how to automate it as well. So if you want to learn how to do this yourself, it's a 3-day challenge. It'll be in the description below. Click on it, get your seat, take advantage of it, and let's make money. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.